So today we are going to do elements and compounds. So first let's talk about compound. A compound is a pure substance which is made up of two or more kinds of elements that are chemically combined. So by chemically combined, I mean there is some type of chemical reaction between them. Like here, this is a molecule, H2, which is hydrogen gas. This is a compound where we have a carbon and two oxygen atom, which is carbon dioxide. Okay, so there we have same atoms and they are chemically combined. By chemically combined, I mean there is a chemical bonding between these two atoms, and this is a compound with, again, there is a chemical bonding between carbon and oxygen, which is forming carbon dioxide. So it is made up of more than one kind of element. There is a carbon and there is oxygen, but here we have same kind of element. Both are hydrogen. Here we have carbon and oxygen. So there are then, because here we can see between elements there is a chemical bonding, right? So chemical bonds, it can be a single bond, double bond, or triple bond. Single bond is, for example, in hydrogen gas, there is a single bond between hydrogen atoms. Like in oxygen gas, we have double bonding. So you can see double bonding. In nitrogen gas, there is triple bonding. So let's understand what is this bonding and what are the other types of bonding which hold these compound or these molecule together, right? So here, compound formations, atoms of one element when they combine with atoms of other element in a very specific ways. In a very specific ways means there are the ratio of the element should be specific. For example, if two atoms of hydrogen combine with one atom of oxygen, it form water. But if I change the number of atoms of any of the element, it will form a different compound. So the ratio should be specific. That's what I meant by specific ways. Like here in carbon dioxide, there is one carbon and two oxygen atom. So this ratio should be fixed. If for two carbon dioxide compound, there would be two carbon and four oxygen, right? So this ratio is fixed, like here one nitrogen and three hydrogen atom. When they combine chemically, it form ammonia. If I change the ratio, if I take two nitrogen and three hydrogen, it would be some other compound. So in compound there is uh, one type of element chemically combined with other type of element in a specific way, in a specific ratio, and that's how compounds are formed. So there are different types of compound, mainly two: ionic and covalent. Ionic, for example, salt, sodium chloride is an example of ionic compound. Water is an example of covalent compound. Let's see what is ionic and covalent compound. So in covalent compounds, atoms combine by sharing electrons to form molecules. So let's say this is atom 1 and this is atom 2. Atom 1, as we can see, its shell has 7 electrons, and atom B or atom 2 has 7 electrons, right? So if atom A and B, when there is some type of chemical reaction, when they combine chemically, what happens is, because as we know, for an atom to be stable, they require 8 electrons to become stable, right? So when A combines with B, what they do is they they share these electrons. So these two electrons, this one and this one, these two electrons are shared by both atoms. Why? Because both of them require one more electron to become stable. Atom A or atom 1 has 7, atom 2 also has 7, so they both require 1 1. If they just do sharing, it's just like a sharing of book in a classroom by two students, the same type of sharing. They both are sharing their 1 1 electron with each other, and that's how now atom A, if you see, This has 8 electrons, and this atom 2 also has 8 electrons. And that's how, by sharing of valence electron, valence means outer shell electrons, because outer shell is involved in like transfer and in bonding, because it moves first, right? And it is like free, because more close to, if an electron is more close to nucleus, the attraction is more, right? So the outer one is, the force between the outermost electron and the nucleus is not that much. So that's why they this is written like valence electron and unpaired valence electrons. So what they do is, they are just sharing valence electrons, and by sharing of electron, they form a covalent bond. This bonding between two atom, which is made by sharing of valence electron, this is called covalent bonding. And these compound which are doing covalent bonding, they are called covalent compound. Okay, next one is molecule. So a molecule is a group of atoms in which atoms are held together by um, sharing one or more pair of electron. Like here we have hydrogen. So let's say this red dot or red circle is the electron of this hydrogen, and this cross is electron of this. Now um, because hydrogen has one electron, this hydrogen has one electron, and we know in first shell two electrons are needed for an atom to be stable. In second shell they should have eight, right? So for to be stable, what this hydrogen would do, they will share each other electron, because this way they both have two electron, right? This overlapping is showing that these two electrons are shared by both of these atoms, and that's how they share these electrons and they both become stable. Okay, so this is called um, this is again an example of covalent bonding, because electrons are shared. Similarly, in oxygen, oxygen have 6 electron in its outermost shell, right? This oxygen also has 6 electrons, which are represented by cross, and this one are represented by circle. Okay. Now we know second shell require 8 electrons for an atom to be stable, right? Why here I said 2 electrons? Because hydrogen has 1 electron, and in first shell it like the shell can hold only 2 electrons. Okay, so an atom wants its shell, outermost shell, to be completely filled to be stable. So here oxygen having 6 electron, uh, it required two more electron to become stable, right? So this oxygen require two more electron, because it is having 6, and 6 plus 2 is 8, right? And the second one, again it is having 6 electron, it also require 2 electron. What they do when they are chemically reacting, these two oxygen, they share two electrons. Basically they are sharing one, like a pair of electron between these two atoms is shared, and that's how they make oxygen gas, which is O2, which we breathe in. Again for chlorine, this chlorine is having 7, right? 6 and 7, this chlorine is having 7. So chlorine 2, there are two chlorine atom, and because they are having both of them having 7 electron, one more is required to become stable. So that's how um, they are sharing one electron is shared by each of them, and covalent bonding is formed. So in all of them they are sharing electron, and they form bonding. So here one electron is shared, so this is single bond. Okay, because two electrons make one bond. Here 4 electron means double bond. Again here single bond, because 2 electron is there. So when 2 electrons are there, it will form single bond. 4 means double bond. 6 electrons means triple bond, like in case of N2 nitrogen. Example of covalent compound. So the smallest possible particle of water is single molecule, right? We know water has the formula is H2O. So it has two hydrogen atom which make one hydrogen molecule, right? H2. And this is one atom of oxygen. When they combine, they form H2O compound. So there are two hydrogen and one oxygen, which is forming single molecule of water or single compound. Okay. Why compound? Because they are like bonded in a specific way. They should have only two hydrogen and one oxygen of one atom of oxygen. So water molecule is composed of two hydrogen atom and one oxygen atom. So the formula is H2O, two hydrogen and one oxygen. So this is one water molecule, this is one water molecule, and this is one water molecule. How these water molecule combine? Because when we take even a sip of water, it has like thousands of water molecule, right? Because so how these water molecules are like combined? Again, to combine these water molecules, there is a hydrogen bonding, which is a weak bonding as compared to covalent bonding. Covalency, number of electron pairs that are shared between two atoms in a covalent molecule is called covalency. Like here, carbon is connected with four hydrogen, right? In methane, CH4. And as I said, one uh, one bond means two electrons. So these two electrons combine, they make one bond between CH. These two, one bond. These two, one bond, like that. So the number of electron pairs that are shared between two atoms in a covalent molecule. Covalent compound characteristics is that they are soft, solid, and liquid. They have less solubility in water and they lack ions. They don't have ions because electrons are just shared, right? They are bad conductor of electricity because for electricity there should be ions, right? Ions conduct electricity and they don't have ions, so that's why they are bad conductors of electricity. Ionic compound. um, Ionic compounds are formed when atoms gain or lose electron to form ions. Like here we have a sodium ion and chlorine. So sodium valence electron. Valence means outermost electron. Sodium has one electron in its outer shell. Chlorine has seven. As you can see, these circles are representing electron. Now we know atom wants its shell to be completely filled. So chlorine is having seven, right? And we know atom, they should have eight in the second shell to be stable, right? So seven it is having already. What it will do, it will take one electron from sodium, and that's how it will complete its shell and get 8 electron. But this sodium is having one. So because to become stable it requires 7, which is gaining 7 electron is not that much easy. So what this sodium would do, it will lose its electron. So sodium has to lose, chlorine need one, so that's why they pair up. And when sodium is losing electron, because electron is negatively charged, right? Because sodium is losing negative charge, so it will become positive, right? We know in an atom number of electrons and protons are equal, right? um, and suppose here, if it is losing one electron, it is just losing negative charge, and positive, it will be having one more positive charge than negative. That's why sodium get a positive charge, because it is losing negative, so it get a positive charge. And chlorine is gaining a negative charge. Negative charge means electron, right? That's why it become negative. And this way they both make their shell completely filled, right? Sodium become positive, chlorine negative. Sodium chloride is just salt that we use. This is an example of ionic compound. So when atom of sodium and chlorine they come together, they from a neutral state. Like here they are in neutral state because electrons and protons they both are equal, negative and positive charge is equal, right? So they are neutral. So they turn into oppositely charged particle by transfer of electron. We have seen sodium transferred its one electron, and it loses it, and chlorine gain it, and that's how sodium become positive because it is losing negative, and chlorine become negative because it is gaining negative, right? So one become positive and other become negative, and these charges are called ions. And by because here in case of covalent bonding, if you remember, the it was transfer of it was not transfer, actually it was just sharing of electron, right? But here electron is transferred from one atom to another, right? It is completely transferred, like here this atom, and now it is transferred to chlorine. So basically ionic compounds or ionic bonding, electrons are transferred. Now one atom is positive, other is negative, and we know opposite charges attract, right? So they will attract. There would be a force of attraction, and this forms ionic bonding. That's how ionic compounds are formed. So it was a neutral atom first, sodium, like in that example. So the one which is losing electron will become positive, or it is called cation. The one which is gaining electron will become negative, and it is called anion. And that's how they become charged. And this is an atom actually, neutral atom. As it lose or gain electron, it become ions. Now it is ion, okay? Electrovalency, so number of electrons lost by cation and gained by and by anion is called electrovalency. Like sodium is losing one electron, so its valency is one. And chlorine is gaining one, so its valency is one. So ionic compound, they exist as a crystalline solid. They are easily soluble in water, and they have good electrical conductivity because they have charges, right? These are the examples of ionic compound in everyday life: sodium chloride, magnesium sulfate, and all. So the compound which dissolve in water easily, they are called ionic compound, right? Here you can see they are ions, sodium plus, and then we get chlorine. So now compounds that can share electrons are called covalent compounds, right? You can see here electrons are shared. They are used by both of the atoms. That's why we show it by overlapping. So which compound has formula water? I mean H2O is water, right? So an ionic compound, they are like atoms are arranged in a regular pattern and they form crystalline structure like this. This is the structure of ionic compounds. Okay, and first this is the structure of sodium chloride, and